Have you ever wondered what's really going on inside the mind of an AI assistant when you give it a complicated task? I mean, we see this magic on the surface, but behind the curtain, developers are trying to manage some serious chaos. Today we're going to dive into 랭그래프, a pretty amazing tool that brings order to all that chaos by essentially giving the AI a flowchart to follow.
So let's really think about that for a second. When we ask an AI to, say, plan a trip or write a report, how does it actually figure out all the steps? Is it just one single brilliant flash of insight? Or is something messier going on?
Well, the reality is, building reliable AI agents that can handle multiple steps is frankly incredibly messy. They can get stuck in loops, completely forget what they just did, and just go off the rails in ways that are really hard to predict. It's less like a disciplined genius and a lot more like a brilliant but, a wildly distractible intern.
And this right here is the core challenge for engineers. Behind that magical user experience, getting an AI to reliably complete a task with multiple stages is a huge, huge hurdle. You see, turning that messy, chaotic process into a dependable product, well, that's where the real work begins.
Let's get really specific about these problems. An agent can literally get stuck in an endless loop, just trying the same failed step over and over. It might forget crucial information from just a few moments ago. And a big one, it often has no idea when to just give up and ask a human for help. All this leads to the big question: how do you make this incredibly powerful technology reliable enough to actually use in the real world?
So, what's the solution? Well, a really powerful one is to stop hoping the AI figures it out and just give it a map. And this is exactly where a tool called 랭그래프 comes into the picture. It's designed specifically to tame this exact kind of chaos. Okay, so here's the official technical definition. 랭그래프 is a library for building stateful, multi-actor applications. Well, lots of jargon there. But the key idea, the really important part, is modeling these AI processes as graphs, which is just a fancy way of saying a series of connected dots and lines that define a clear path. But honestly, let's just simplify that. Forget the jargon for a second. The best way to think about 랭그래프 is that it lets you give an AI a flowchart. That's it. A set of instructions that says, okay, start here. If this happens, you go down this path. If that happens, you go over there. It provides the structure that these agents so desperately need.
Now, to really get why 랭그래프 is such a big deal, we need to understand a really important distinction in how we tell an AI what to do, and that's the difference between a workflow and an agent.
This quote from Anthropic just nails the difference. A workflow is like a factory assembly line. It's a fixed, predefined set of steps. Do A, then B, then C. An agent, on the other hand, is way more like a freelance detective, deciding its own next move based on the clues it uncovers.
So let's just break this down. With workflows, the path is fixed, giving the developer a ton of control. This is perfect for tasks where you already know all the steps. Agents, though, they have a dynamic path, giving the AI a lot of autonomy, which is great for these wide-open, unpredictable problems. Now here's the really cool part. 랭그래프 gives developers the tools to build and control both. You get to pick the right style for the job.
So how does this actually work when you're building something? Well, 랭그래프 isn't just about drawing lines between boxes. It lets developers use these powerful, reusable recipes, or agentic patterns, to build some really sophisticated AI systems. Let's look at two of the big ones. First up, we've got a pattern that you can just call the manager and the specialists. The, technical name is orchestrator worker, and it works pretty much exactly how it sounds.
Imagine you ask an AI to write a super detailed report on climate change. The orchestrator AI acts like the project manager. It looks at this big task and breaks it down. Okay, you, AI number 1, you go research historical data. You, AI number 2, you analyze the economic impact. And you, AI number 3, you summarize the future projections. Each specialist AI goes and does its one job really well. And then the manager AI pulls all their work together into one final cohesive report.
All right, the second pattern is just as easy to get. We can call this one the self-critic, or if you want to be formal, the evaluator optimizer. This one is all about making things better through iteration. So check this out. Let's say you ask an AI to write a funny joke. The generator AI writes one, but then a separate evaluator AI looks at it and basically acts like a comedy critic. It says, you know what? That punchline's a little weak. It sends that feedback back to the first AI, which then tries again. This loop keeps going until the evaluator AI finally says, okay, yep, that's a good one. It's like having a built-in quality control system.
Now, beyond these awesome patterns, 랭그래프 also provides some fundamental features that are basically superpowers for AI agents. These are the things that turn them from just interesting experiments into tools you can actually rely on.
Superpower number one is persistence, or, just memory. 랭그래프's structure allows agents to save their progress. This is huge. It means they can handle really long tasks without forgetting what happened 10 steps ago. It's the difference between talking to someone who remembers your name and someone who doesn't.
Next up is the human-in-the-loop capability. And this one is so important for safety and for control. It means you can build a stop sign right into the flowchart. The agent has to pause at a critical point and ask a human, hey, I'm about to spend $1,000. Are you sure that's okay?
And finally, superpower number 3 is streaming. This is all about transparency. Instead of having a black box that just spits out an answer at the very end, you can actually see the agent's thought process. You see the steps it's taking as it works, which builds a ton of trust and just makes for a way better user experience.
So when you put all this together, the memory, the human control, the transparency, it completely changes the game. These are the features that elevate building AI agents from a cool but kind of unpredictable hobby into a serious, reliable engineering discipline. It's how we finally get to build agents we can actually trust.
So what does this all really mean for the future of AI? Well, it suggests that the future isn't just about one giant, super smart AI. It's going to be highly orchestrated and structured.
You see, 랭그래프 and tools like it provide the essential scaffolding, the framework we need to build systems that are way more complex than any single AI could handle on its own. It's what allows us to construct these really big, reliable, and controllable systems from all these powerful but sometimes chaotic building blocks.
And this really leaves us with a fascinating, kind of mind-blowing final question. Once we can reliably orchestrate entire teams of specialized AI agents, a researcher AI, a coder AI, a critic, a synthesizer, all working together seamlessly, what currently unsolvable problems are we finally going to be able to tackle?